Located between the South Pacific Ocean and the Tasman Sea, the island nation of New Zealand is a thriving paradise at the bottom of the world.
We are a long way from everywhere, and I think that's why ICT becomes increasingly important for us, the ability to be able to deal with anybody in microseconds rather than getting on an airplane. I talked earlier about being 12 hours from the United States. It's 24 hours away from Europe. It's hard. It's hard running a business if you have to keep jumping in airplanes and making those sort of commitments. But being able to do it over the internet, being able to do ICT, being able to export ICT products just by pushing a button and having them digitally carried somewhere else around the world is very important to us. It's very powerful. It's very liberating.
New Zealand, through numerous national and local government initiatives, is enabling people to acquire the relevant skills needed to address the country's growing ICT industry.
The New Zealand Digital Strategy is a whole-of-government effort which was put in place just over 2 years ago, and it is a very comprehensive way forward for New Zealand in the digital world. It focuses on all the issues that are likely to affect New Zealanders as we move forward.
On New Zealand's North Island, where 75% of the nation lives, the cities of Wellington, Hamilton and Auckland are experiencing greater need for technical-based professional skills to keep pace with global change and economic demand. Compounded by an almost 50% drop in traditional college attendance, New Zealand faces an expanding gap between economic development and a workforce with relevant skills.
Graduates are decreasing from tertiaries as much as 20% every year, and we know that the number of the jobs are increasing. So we actually have a situation where jobs are increasing, graduates are decreasing, and understanding that we need ICT roles to grow across the sector in terms of driving productivity and driving innovation.
Most people in the workforce today are going to be in the workforce for another 20 years. In that 20 years, the transition to more technological tools is going to result in them having to have education about use of technology, and they're very fearful about that. So we need to provide the tools to allow them to transition from their current lack of knowledge into being knowledgeable and comfortable in using those tools in the workplace.
We know that women don't take part in ICT careers, that women are less skilled in ICT than men, and we know that with Maori and Pacific peoples that we have less skilled people with ICT as well.
The Maori have inhabited this island nation since 800 AD. The Maori brought with them a culture rich in Polynesian tradition. Song, crafts including wood carving, and the war dance known as the haka are all notable traditions of the Maori. But for the 21st century, this culturally rich and proud Indigenous people have discovered the necessity of preserving that culture while also realising their need to advance their skills to remain relevant in the digital age.
So I think that the real issues there are that is the economic issue for these communities. In the past, Māori, the tradition New Zealand, have had a very strong economic development background. They were trading communities pre-contact. They were trading with across Australia, especially in Manukau. We had a number of tribal groups in Manukau who were trading with companies in Australia back in the 1840s. Now, what we want to see is that sort of capability for our Māori communities to go back up towards those type of endeavours.
In addition to that, we have to actually work with kids who are getting the information they need, but to actually do it in a better way. Because at the moment, in New Zealand, for example, we have a very small amount of ICT curriculum available to kids through school, to the extent that we just don't have the number of graduates coming through in the ICT area that we need.
In primary education, covering children aged between 5 and 12, technology is not a consistent part of the teaching curriculum. For children in higher grades, ICT skills, though introduced, are still not consistent in the classroom.
There was no future skills foresight inherent in how we were dealing with growing talent in New Zealand, and we felt it was very important to create something perhaps along the line as the Irish and the British, to actually have a Future Skills Council established. To that end, we put together some significant funding from the private sector and we set about structuring how we'd approach that work. Where that project's gone now is we've invested the private sector funding pending the commencement of a project, and the government has set about developing an ICT curriculum which will be delivered in 2011.
Developing ICT skills along a consistent, globally recognised standard is critical in helping New Zealand transform lives and its economy for greater relevance on the global stage.
Another project we've got happening has been a project we've called CLIMB, Computer Literacy in My Backyard, in Manukau. Manukau is the second biggest city, or growing to be, in New Zealand. CLIMB was based on some work that we'd seen that Certiport ran in Cleveland, Ohio, a project that looked to drive digital literacy deep into communities and to use that digital literacy to change people's understandings of their objectives, their opportunities, to change the quality of their life. We were delighted by those social imperatives, that the importance that was being given to upskilling a whole community, to giving them digital skills and understanding that would actually transform their lives and transform their self-esteem and create much more effective citizenship.
We're a country that has a well-educated workforce. We're quite creative. We're unconstrained by rules. We like to think we're a bit rebellious, and that makes us quite creative in terms of the products and services that we can build with ICT.
For New Zealand's largest city, blending ICT skills with a proven tradition of the entrepreneurial spirit is transforming lives and ensuring the long-term success for its citizens and the people, economies and future of this island nation on the far side of the world.